There is practically nothing left to target in Iran. Anytime I want it to end, it will end. Donald Trump just said it out loud. But while headlines are starting to talk about victory, the Pentagon is quietly preparing more strikes, more planes, more bombs, more targets. And according to reporting from Axios, Trump is now saying the war could end soon because there is practically nothing left to target inside Iran. That's a stunning claim to make while a war is still actively unfolding. Because behind the scenes, US and Israeli officials are reportedly preparing at least 2 more weeks of attacks. So which version is real? Is the war basically finished? Or is the public being told one story while the military prepares for the next phase? And this matters for one very simple reason. Money. When war explodes in the Persian Gulf, it hits your wallet almost immediately. Oil spikes, shipping costs surge, markets panic. Everything from gas to groceries starts creeping upward. And right now, the entire global economy is watching one place, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow stretch of water between Iran and the Gulf states is not just another shipping route. It's the world's biggest economic kill switch. About 20% of the planet's oil supply moves through that channel. If that route shuts down, energy prices don't just rise, they detonate. And according to intelligence reports cited by US officials, Iran recently began laying naval mines in those waters. That's the kind of move that can freeze global shipping overnight. The US military says it responded by destroying 16 Iranian mine-laying boats before they could block the passage. Think about the scale of that moment. If those mines had closed the strait, the shock wouldn't stay in the Middle East. It would hit gas stations, grocery stores, airlines, everywhere. Now here's where the story gets even more complicated. Trump is telling reporters the war is going incredibly well. He says US forces have wiped out huge parts of Iran's military, radar systems, air defenses, naval assets, missile infrastructure. According to Trump, the US military achieved in 10 days what planners expected to take a full month. At the exact same time, those victory messages are being broadcast. Defense officials are preparing for more strikes. 2 completely different signals. One message says the war is almost over. The other says the bombing isn't finished yet. So why send those 2 messages at the same time? Some officials believe the answer has nothing to do with the battlefield. It has to do with the markets. When investors think a Middle East war is spiraling out of control, oil prices explode and stock markets tumble. But if leaders suggest the conflict is wrapping up, panic slows down. In other words, telling the public the war might end soon can calm markets, even while military operations continue. But Iran is sending a very different signal. The country's Revolutionary Guard quickly fired back, saying they, not Washington, will decide when the war ends. Iranian officials even warned that if attacks continue, they could disrupt oil exports across the region entirely. That's a nightmare scenario energy traders fear most. Supporters of the strike say this pressure is exactly what's needed to weaken Iran's military and stop long-term threats in the region. But critics hear something familiar. They remember moments in Iraq and Afghanistan when leaders declared victory long before the fighting actually stopped. And that's the tension sitting right under Trump's statement right now. If there's nothing left to target, why are more strikes already being planned? Because this conflict isn't just about destroying military equipment. It's about power in the Middle East, controlling oil routes, weakening Iran's influence, and showing who dominates the region's strategic balance. So here's the question. When a president says the war could end whenever he wants, but the military keeps preparing more attacks, is that a smart strategy to stabilize the global economy? Or is the public being told the war is ending while the conflict is quietly getting bigger? I want to hear what you think. Is this careful strategy or dangerous messaging while the war keeps expanding? Drop your take in the comments, because the next phase of this conflict may reveal whether this really is the end of the war or the beginning of something far more dangerous.